Hi, and welcome to another episode of Working from Home and How to Stay Productive. And I'm Alana, and I am the creative director and executive producer at Filmkik. And I'm producing this series because I'm really interested in finding out what people are doing, how are they staying productive in different fields, and those of us who can work should continue to work. And I really think that we should help each other out and see what are the best practices that we have each found so that we can stay just as engaged and as efficient as we can during our shelter in place situation. Today, I'm going to be talking to Katie Rhodes, and I've known Katie for a long time, and I just absolutely love her. And her background is just incredible. And honestly, I don't think you can go to school to become what Katie has become, because she went to school and then she has worked for all these different companies, and she has learned, basically crafted her career based on all these different companies that she's worked with. And I want to introduce her to you. And what we're going to be talking about today is pretty much how to keep the marketing momentum going during this time, and basically any other place that our conversation goes. So I am going to welcome Katie. Hi, Katie.
Hi, how's it going, Alana? Thank you for having me on your live show here. I'm excited.
It's my pleasure. And I mentioned a little bit that you're like how it's, you've crafted your own career and how amazing it is. Can you tell me a little bit more about just so people know like where you've been, the different companies that you've worked for, what you've done?
Yeah, so I've worked in Silicon Valley since 2007, and what I've really done is shaped my marketing career in the way that I've wanted to, leveraging the companies that I've worked with. So I've really selected companies that I felt would build me up as a marketer. So I've worked for Mark Monitor, who is now part of Thomson Reuters. That's about security, online security. So I think it's really important, especially in the online world, is making sure that you do have security woven into everything that you're doing in your professional life. I moved over to a company where I was doing sales enablement. The company was a sales enablement company. I was in the demand gen team at that company, but it's super essential to make sure that you are anything that the marketing team is building, that you're making it to where this is something that you can hand over to your go-to-market team so they can put out into the ether, make sure that they're connecting to their customers and their prospective customers. So that one is essential. I worked at Marketo, where I learned the essentials of marketing automation. It's definitely a cornerstone of what most marketers I've talked to use, a marketing automation platform, and I was able to become a power user there at Marketo, which was great. So as a marketer, I know the ins and outs, so I can go in and tweak things myself, even if we're using an agency to support that wing of our business. And then I worked at a public company that was post-IPO that worked in internal communications and communications with your customers at Jive. So in the demand gen team, really focusing on how important it is that we stay connected and how important it is that we make sure that we're communicating both internally and externally to speed up the process of things and stay productive. And then now I'm at Optimizely, which is a smaller startup company. I've been here since 2016, and I head up the North America field marketing team there. And the thing that drew me over to Optimizely is it's super important for every company and every person as a marketer, as just a worker inside a company, to make sure that you're constantly testing and learning from those tests. So to me, experimentation and progressive delivery should really be the cornerstone of what any company does. And then as an individual, experimentation is something that I make sure that is woven into my team. We make sure that we put multi-arm bandits on our landing pages, so we can test out test out the best messaging to get folks to register for our in-person events, webinars, virtual events. So really making sure that we're building a process and even a product that resonates with your audience and your customers.
Wow. Well, you head up the field marketing for Optimizely, and you guys are normally handling a lot of in-person events, like you just said. And we are not doing that anymore. So how are you guys changing your practices? What tools are you using? You still need to communicate with people. You still need to get the word out there. But one essential piece of the puzzle, which is live events like trade shows and expos and all of that, has been removed from the equation, at least for now. How have you guys responded to that?
Yeah, it's tricky too, because how do you replace something that allows for people to get in person, one on one, and really get to know each other as a person? That's something that's really difficult to replicate and replace. So I think in regards to replacing that, it's less of replacing and trying to figure out how can we continue to engage when this really essential piece of a business's expense is taken away. I think what we've had to do is pivot extremely fast. I think working in field marketing, managing a large chunk of what we do in our portfolio being live events, I saw this coming a lot sooner than, say, people that are not working with live events, because we were seeing things being canceled a lot earlier. I'd say like end of or beginning of February, I started seeing this. So at least we had, starting in February, to start thinking, what can we do? So we really started focusing on these virtual meetups for our developer audiences. We want to make sure that we're still connecting people. I think right now it's essential to stay connected more than ever. Some people don't have a network where they're living with a couple people, so they're isolated. So I think it's super important to make sure that we're reaching out to our customers, to the people that we care about, which are our customers, but then also family, friends. So having these meetups, these networking meetups are super beneficial and have been great for just staying connected. We're hosting a more high level virtual meetup, which is something that we actually started to pivot into before any of this happened. So we were outfitted to be able to take that pivot a lot quicker. We're hosting an event with Stephen Tomke, who wrote The Surprising Power of Business Experiments, Experimentation Works. And we're really seeing a lot of interest with the executive audience, where we'll be able to bring a lot of people together so they can see what they're all doing and learn from someone who was educated at Harvard Business School. And then we're really working, and we're actually leveraging that through Zoom. We're doing, as everyone is right now, we use, for our webinar platform, we use something different. And so for field marketing, we wanted to create a swim lane where we can stay in and kind of make sure that we're really creating these types of programs where they do feel live events and communicative and networking. So we are going to be leveraging Zoom meeting for a lot of these. And we've done a couple on the Zoom webinar as well, but we're really excited to see how this works in Zoom meeting. And then we've been doing a lot more digital direct mail campaigns. Because there is that, it's a little harder for us to ask our customers and our prospective customers for their home address when so many people right now are sheltering in place. So leveraging Sendoso, we're doing digital direct mail campaigns where we're sending people Uber Eats codes. So folks can not only nourish themselves when they're normally being fed by their work, but then allowing them to prop up the community around them and, buy a lunch at one of their favorite local restaurants. So, trying to help out in anyway, that one.
I find that very interesting. You told me about that one last week, and I thought, well, all of this money that's not being spent going to expos and, basically still stimulating the economy in that way, right? Because there's all these different vendors, all these different people it takes to put that together. Companies are saving that money. So using something like Sendozo and, sending these promo codes out, you still get to spend some of that budget that has already been allocated for these events, but you're also stimulating their local economy with the restaurants. I think it's a great idea. Do you guys, when do you use that? Do you use that during the webinars? Do you have any particular strategy on how to use that kind of like virtual gift?
Yeah, so because Optimizely is all about experimentation, we're testing out a few ideas. So one is just to engage with folks that we were working with or were trying to connect with before everyone started sheltering in place. That's one thing that we're testing out. And then also to keep people engaged in lunch and learn virtual meetups. So, come to this virtual meetup and at the end we'll give you a code so you can have lunch on us. So kind of like a lunch and learn type of situation. And then with Sendoso, they just came out with something that I'm super excited about, which will allow us to send physical pieces to them because we have so many pieces that we already have created that are sitting in warehouses that we can't send out currently because that stigma of asking somebody for their home address. They've created this new thing where it's almost like a registry where you send out an email asking them if they'd like to be sent this item. And if so, then they can enter their address and it goes to just Sendoso to send to them, but won't go to us. So we won't have to worry about that weird stigma of having their home address.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're going to be testing stuff out with that as well.
Oh, that's awesome. I did want to give you and anybody looking at heads up. I have my eye on a few different things, and I'm trying to do it as cool as possible. Like, oh, what's going on over here? But I have my other computer where I'm checking out how Facebook is doing, how YouTube is doing, how the switcher is doing. So, just a heads up, I'm not ignoring you. I'm actually looking at you in like 5 different places. Just so you know.
I get it.
So, Katie, all right, so we're sheltering in place, and I really feel like a lot of companies in Silicon Valley, in a way, have been preparing for, we've been working remotely, we've been working with international audiences for a long time, so we're kind of a little bit more used to these tools because we've been using them for years. I still meet people that had their first Zoom call during the shelter in place situation. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I have like 6 of them a day. Not Zoom, I use Hangouts, but But anyway, that being said, there are still so many challenges that we're encountering. And obviously you guys have pivoted really well and you continue to do so, and you will continue to. Any other things before we kind of move into the more personal side of your mom? And I kind of want to talk about that, okay, let me just phrase it. Here's the question. All right. You are working for a company that is going through all of this change, and probably you more than other people because your department really relies on that interpersonal face-to-face communication, in-person communication. And so you've had to deal with that. And at the same time, you have 2 gorgeous little girls at home. So talk to me about that. How has that been?
Yeah, so I wanted to say the most important thing that I have really leaned into right now is community. So I love staying connected to our partners and our vendors. So I'm all about knowledge share because I'm always trying to innovate and think about the next thing that we can do. And so, but I also want to make sure that the people that I care about, my partners, my fellow demand gen, managers and leaders are learning from each other. And so I love that knowledge share. So that's something that I've been really doing in the last few weeks, is doing an outreach to everyone that I'm connected with and seeing how they're doing and letting them know they're doing great, because that's something that we need to hear right now. We've had to pivot so quickly and something that we've been planning since like October, having to change in a matter of weeks. So I always say hats off to all of my marketers, event marketers, field marketers, demand gen managers, for working really hard and doing this together and sharing this knowledge, because I think we're not going to get through it if we don't get through it together. I'm a huge geek, and I love that Game of Thrones reference where the lone wolf dies, but the wolf that stays with a pack survives. So very much that I'm the pack wolf, trying to make sure that everybody inside the pack is staying happy and healthy and learning from each other. So, and I also have this amazing team that I work inside the demand gen team, and then my team that reports to me in field marketing, and then dotted line, and or like people that I work alongside of with our EMEA field marketing and demand gen team, having that support of my colleagues, and then my sales team has been huge. Everybody is communicating through Slack and lifting each other up and raising their hand and trying to take on extra work. I have somebody on my team who got stuck in the UK, and she's been working East Coast hours, which is amazing. And she's really stepped up during all of this to help out. And then I have another in New York who is the epicenter of what's going on here in the States, and she's a rock star. So I feel like you're only as good as the people that are around you, and you surround yourself with good people. I think that's huge. So I feel so eternally thankful and grateful for the team that I built, as well as the team that I'm on. I think that's really what gets you through these things like this. So I wanted to say that. And then in regards to my family, I also feel the massive support because I do have a partner who works in the customer service industry in wine. So I feel like I'm in a place where I have a little bit more support because he's at home right now. He can't be in the wine tasting room. So I feel like I do have more support at home than some of my colleagues do, where they're having to balance their schedule with their partner to make sure that, you're taking on these two full-time jobs and having to also have this other full-time job of managing the time schedule of a child and taking care of them. And then also on top of that, this new job, which is a teacher. So it almost feels like parents are being dealt this impossible task of you need to have two full-time jobs that have the same, three full-time jobs that have the same exact hours. Get it done and try to stay as productive as folks that might not be in that same boat, who might not be taking care of a parent or a children, parents. So I think it's super important that at this time, both with parents, that we support each other and let them know that you're doing great and try to, be productive with the hours that you have. And then know that your colleagues support you and delegate. Ask your colleagues who might be able to help out a little bit more. Give them some tasks so then you can focus on the ones that you need to get done. And then I think for the folks that don't have, children or parents that they're taking care of, let your colleagues know that they're doing great. Make sure that you have the patience and understanding when you are in team calls. Children are going to be hopping in the room or saying something inappropriate off camera. And just, let them know, your colleagues know that you're there to support them. I think that's huge. So.
Yeah, I agree. I have a lot of reality on what you're saying. I mean, having children and working from home and everybody in the same spot is challenging, to say the least. It's very rewarding at the same time, but it's definitely challenging. And I saw a meme that was a couple on the couch, and it was like quarantine. It said quarantine without kids, and then another one was a scene of Gremlins, and they had like destroyed the kitchen and everything, and it was like quarantine with kids. And it resonated, and they can't go outside. They can't play with their friends. They can't go to the park. A lot of the things that you normally do as a parent to distract them and to make sure that they are still like active and engaged, you can't even do that. So it's not even that you're just at home with the kids. Normally they'll go out and play with the neighbors, and I'll see them at dinner time, but they can't even do that. My 5-year-old told me the other day that she can play with her friend, but she can't touch her or she will die. And I was like, oh my God, what? She's like, because of the virus. And I'm like, oh God, no. Yeah. So I don't know what kind of lasting, effects that's going to have on her psyche, that she can't touch people or that they will die. She seemed pretty excited about it, though. I may have a little supervillain there, because she was pretty stoked on the fact that she had that superpower.
Oh man, I love that. There was actually something that I wanted to add to staying productive. I have the amazing fortune to be able to see these amazing speakers, because I get to go to so many live events and put on live events. So there was somebody in particular that I was just awestruck with. His name is Nir Eyal. He wrote this book called Indistractable, and that I feel like is such a powerful book right now, more so than ever. Before this all started, the shelter in place, I was trying to implement a lot of this into my own life, but really about structuring your day, because if you don't schedule out your day, somebody else will schedule your day for you. So that's something that I do. I have a separate calendar that I task out, like what I need to be doing throughout the day. I set it for the week, and then I adjust it every morning, because everything's going to change probably from the last day. But at least I have certain key points of my day that are blocked out. So I have that, 45 minutes to just decompress and eat lunch, that 30-minute break later in the day to just take a walk around the block when I was at the office or here, just sit in my backyard and play some music or something. So, and then I have I need to get this project done. So I block out this time to focus on that. So then I'm not being distracted by all of the things that are coming at me throughout the day, email and Slack and text and people swinging by your desk, or in my case right now, children trying to jump on my back. So I think it's super important to structure that out. And then with my partner, my husband, I block out my days where if he needs to get certain things done, I block it out, so then he has that time to focus on his work and what he needs to get done. So then I share the load with the kids at that time. And I think right now what I'm seeing a lot is a lot of support for those. I don't see a lot of people booking over those types of things or questioning. And what a lot of my colleagues are doing also is in our team meetings, just letting folks know, unless I'm essential in meetings, I gotta not participate, because I'm splitting the day with my husband. That's, some cases, or these are my working hours right now. So if I'm offline, that's why I see in Slack people putting on their Slack status that they're away for coffee or lunch, or they're working on a task, or, their door is open, ask away. So that's something that I've been seeing a lot of, which has been extremely helpful. And then I'm a silver linings type of person. So I've really been focusing on the fact that when I do have time where I'm on my computer and I don't have my children in the room, sometimes I have to sequester myself in this office. I get a lot done, because I don't have people stopping by my desk and pulling me away from tasks. And then I do have this amazing quality time with my family. And the other day I took a bunch of my meetings in my backyard, because I'm like, I'm going to be in the sun. I'm going to enjoy this while I can. So I'm going to sit in my yard, and just take this meeting here. So, I've really been trying to focus on that, and then trying to be creative and inventive, because usually during times when people are sheltering in place throughout the history of humankind, that's when people have been the most creative. And have come up with some amazing, innovative things. So I'm trying to see this as ways to get back into some of my passions and get really creative and innovative, and how I can reach out to our customers during this time, and our prospective customers, engage with our sales team and let them know that, we're here to help them, and let them know anything that we're building, so they're in the loop on what's going on, and our customer success team. Making sure that they know that we're thinking about our customers and we want to make sure that they are feeling supported at this time. So um, I'm trying to focus on all of the amazing positives because through hard times, there's always light. I think it's like a um, Harry Potter reference with Dumbledore says, even during these dark times, you can always find light. I don't know the exact quote, but I love that. And then a Gandalf quote because I'm a super geek, where these are hard times. People, like Frodo, I wish I was never given the ring. I wish I was never part of this. I wish I was never living at this time. And Gandalf replying, so do all who are in these moments. It's not something that we can decide or choose, but what we can is what we do with the time that we do have. So I think I look at those quotes weekly because those inspire me.
I love it. I love it. So we got a
So
Harry
geeky.
Potter. Oh yeah, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, a Lord of the
Lord of the
Rings.
Rings.
I love it. So
I
I
am a
wanna
geek.
I wanna ask you one more thing, and I love that you're silver linings. I love that about you. And what do you think you're going to? The world went upside down. It still hasn't come out of it. We're still in it. Normally, things happen very quickly, and then we have time to reflect after. We're kind of having to reflect and still go through it at the same time. And it's kind of like this slow roll disaster that is happening that's kind of intense. But we're having to adapt and change. What do you think when the world goes back to normal? What do you think you are going to keep with you that you have learned or have adapted to newly during this time?
I don't think it's ever going to go back to normal. And that I think it's going to be tough. And I think it also will have some really good things as well. I think people are seeing the power of online and how important it is to make sure that your customers' experience and journey with you as a company and then with your product is essential. It's so important right now. And I think I know that because I'm an Optonaut, because I work at Optimizely, I am a huge proponent of experimentation. But however you experiment, however you're testing, however you're making sure that you're building things and creating things that your customers love, do that. I think that's so important. So that's something I think people will definitely take away. The power of communication. I know that events will take some time to go online, but where or back online, where I see things when they do start coming into a place where people can be connected are those smaller field events where people will feel safer in smaller groups and then we'll be able to build up to these larger shows. But I definitely see field marketing as um, super essential, especially since we are the jack of all trades. We are Our focus is building awareness within a region and helping build pipeline for sales teams in any way possible. So that's direct mail campaigns, email campaigns that are targeted. That's field events, which are going to be something that people are going to be longing for when things get back to normal, that connection. And then virtual meetups. I think that's something that I'm going to make sure to continue to add that to my arsenal because that has opened up a world of different speakers that I haven't been able to get into one place. So that's something I'm super excited about is those virtual meetups, getting people face to face online.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay, well, that's time. I really appreciate anything else you want to say or end off on?
I just want to say you guys are doing great. Keep up the good work and don't be so hard on yourself. Step back, take a breath, and let people know what restrictions what restrictions you have, what your working time block is, where you're available, and stick to your guns. Let them know, like, I'm sorry, this is, or not even I'm sorry. I say sorry too much. But this is what it is. I am here to help you and support you, but this is what I need to do to be successful and productive and give back the most to being a parent, being a teacher, being an employee. So love yourself, be kind to yourself, and draw a line in the sand and let people know this is what I can do. And don't apologize.
I'm sorry for apologizing so much. Katie, it's been fantastic. Thank you so much. And I hope that we got more viewers this time than ever. It's been like 10 people. It's fantastic. So I really...
Hey, everybody.
Hi, 10 people. No, but then it'll stay live on YouTube and then 10 more people can see it later. No, but Katie, I think you're amazing. And I do want to do a check-in after all of this is done and kind of see, based on our projections and how things are moving, how just maybe like a 6-month check-in to see, all right, well, that happened. How have things changed? So
Yeah,
thank you.
that'd be great.
All right, so I'm going to do a little
Alana.
end offy thing here. Okay, and I do this and I go to me and I say, all right, thanks again. Thanks to you, my 10 viewers. I really appreciate your love and support. I see you, Mom. Tomorrow I'm going to be interviewing Kim, and it's going to be my 5th live stream in a row. I am learning a lot, so I appreciate everybody's patience. I am having to handle a lot of different things and be a host. Frankly, I'm not used to hosting people and asking questions. I just naturally ask questions, but I'm still learning the dynamics of how to do it in this kind of context. But tomorrow I'm going to be interviewing Kim Smith, and she is going to be talking about a bunch of different things, and I honestly forgot. So, and this is live, so I can't take it from the top. There is no take 2. So with that, I am going to just shut up. So see ya.